Hey hamsters, the crypto market is known for its ups, downs, and constant fluctuations. But did you know that these swings aren't really up to chance? Instead, it's often big news that sends the market spinning. Today we are going to break down some of the biggest pieces of news that rocketed the crypto world and explore how they set off ripple effects across the market. Ready to dig in?
Are ya ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
Let's dive into 6 news events that had an impact on the crypto market. You're probably getting tired of hearing this name come up, but taking the first spot on the list is the fall of FTX. In fact, in January 2022, the company was said to be worth $32 billion, dominating the market. But then in November 2022, an article came out claiming that FTX had huge problems with its balance sheet and hinting that the exchange might have been overly presenting its success. And after the initial panic and then Binance's announcement about helping with insolvency, CZ, Binance's CEO at the time, later said they are pulling off the support because they weren't happy with due diligence. And that's when all hell broke loose. Not even a day later, and FTT, the native token of FTX, plummeted, and fear spread that one of the biggest exchanges at the time didn't have the liquidity to stay afloat. As confidence shattered, the value of the major coins like BTC and ETH tumbled too. Bitcoin took one of the most notable hits, hitting a 2-year low, falling under $16,000. In the words of Ben Laidler, a global market strategist at eToro, the FTX debacle came at the end of the annus horribilis that had already seen a tech sector collapse, sharply higher interest rates, and self-inflicted industry wounds. In a more positive light, number 2 is the Bitcoin halving events. While the unwindings of FTX made the prices of crypto take a turn for the worst, positive news has proven to have the opposite effect. Every 4 years or so, Bitcoin goes through a process called halving, where the rewards for mining new blocks are cut by 50%, with a final halving expected in 2140. At this point, the number of Bitcoins in circulation will reach its maximum supply of 21 million. This initiative first came into play to address inflation concerns and has resulted in a significant bull run as supply decreases and news of scarcity drives up the value. According to data from CoinLedger, a crypto tax consultancy, in the 6 months following the 2016 and 2022 halvings, Bitcoin saw a spike of 51 and 83% respectively. However, it's also worth noting that Bitcoin wasn't anywhere close to the prices we see today. In 2016, Bitcoin was only $650, and in 2020, $8,572. Most recently, Bitcoin went through a halving earlier this year, and right before the halving event on March 13, Bitcoin set a record of $73,600, showing that the news of the halving is almost more impactful than the halving itself. The ban on crypto in China. In September 2021, China dropped one of the most major blows to the crypto industry by announcing that all crypto-related transactions were illicit, even services provided to offshore exchanges.
Why?
The People's Bank of China also went on to add that Bitcoin and Tether were not fiat currencies and therefore could not be circulated. Keep in mind that China is one of the largest crypto markets in the world and was home to a large concentration of the world's crypto miners. In April 2021, it was estimated that China had a whopping 46% share of the global hash rate. Bitcoin, which already was facing downwards pressure from Elon Musk's tweets, more to come on this, saw prices take another dive. Following this news, Bitcoin went on to a 3.5-month low of $30,066. Then, of course, there are the actions of the big players like Tesla. Tesla buys Bitcoin. If Bitcoin was like a hamster resting quietly in its cage, then, in this next example, Tesla is the hand that drops a huge, tasty treat in front of it. The hamster goes into a frenzy, running all around, and the whole cage buzzes with energy as other hamsters, caught up in the excitement, start to follow. But just as quickly, Tesla snatches the treat away, leaving the poor hamster confused and scrambling. To give the story some more color, back in 2021, Elon Musk's car company Tesla shared the news that it would be purchasing $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and that it may start to accept the cryptocurrency as a payment form in the future. This news was very important on an industry level, since it would make Tesla the first major automaker to do this. At the same time, the company's fearless leader added #Bitcoin to his profile page on Twitter, now X.
This is Elon Musk.
This news alone caused the price of the cryptocurrency to jump 17% to $44,220, which at the time was a record high. However, this was later met with Tesla pulling a 180 and suspending vehicle purchase with Bitcoin due to climate change concerns. Following this news, Bitcoin fell more than 10% alongside the cost of Tesla shares, which also took a dip. Spot Bitcoin ETF approval. In a little more recent example, you might remember the news of the Bitcoin ETF approval in the US in January 2024. For this example, think of Bitcoin like the hamster that just got a brand new, shiny wheel added to its cage. The approval of the Bitcoin ETF was like the door to that wheel swinging wide open, giving that little hamster access to a faster, smoother track.
It was perfect. Perfect.
As you might imagine, this became a pretty major announcement for the industry, since with it came the validation of Bitcoin's legitimacy in the mainstream financial system. And as a quote-unquote legitimate investment came increased confidence in Bitcoin, which effectively drove the prices higher. This news was also said to attract increased investment inflows for those considered mainstream investors who wanted exposure to the cryptocurrency via their brokerage accounts. Following the SEC positive decision, 11 ETFs were approved on day one. But what can be said about the impact on price? At the start of 2024, Bitcoin was sitting around $44,000, rising to $68,818 in March. And where Bitcoin leads, the rest will follow. The rise of Bitcoin went on to push up the price of Ethereum, Solana, and other popular cryptocurrencies. EmptyGox hack. Back in the day being 2014, the mighty EmptyGox, a Tokyo-based cryptocurrency exchange, ruled the market, being responsible for more than 70% of Bitcoin transactions at its peak. But as such a major player, EmptyGox quickly became the target for hackers. Then came 2014, when the company discovered it had lost hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins, with reports ranging from 650,000, 850,000, approximately 6% of all Bitcoins in existence. And although the exchange did eventually locate 200,000 of these Bitcoins, news of the missing cryptos effectively destabilized the market. Bitcoin fell 23% to $418 when EmptyGox was reported to be completely offline, showing a blank website and Twitter feed. This, however, did not even compare to the EmptyGox exchange itself, where Bitcoin was selling for less than $200, as users panicked that they wouldn't be able to retrieve their coins if the company claimed bankruptcy. However, 10 years later, and news around EmptyGox is still impacting the markets on a larger scale. With news of repayments in July 2024, Bitcoin saw another 12% slump over the same week. So, whether it's hype or fear, these stories remind us that news can flip the market on its head. Stay informed, stay nimble, and keep those hamster wheels rolling. Thanks for joining today's Academy. Subscribe and remember, hamsters have power. One for all and all for one. Bye!